Greetings, fellow Watford fans. Omar here with a Orns 10-minute take on Watford 2, Reading nil. Vicarage Road was a buzz tonight. The electricity was in the air, and Watford really did put together a performance that was sharp, that was at times inventive and incisive, but not consistently so. But sometimes in championship games, in any game of football, you aren't at your best and you aren't performing fluidly throughout a game, but you do get enough done to get the win. And Watford did that tonight against a Reading side that looked very lethargic and did not look very much up for this at all. Watford, I think, on another night could have brushed them aside by at least 3 or 4 goals to nil. But as it stood, two were enough. And Watford got their first goal in the 15th minute from the penalty spot. João Pedro bundled over a WWE style in a clothesline move, a clothesline to the neck and shoulders of João Pedro, and he went down very, very. I mean, you saw how he was absolutely brought down. There was no complaint there. Stonewall pen, and Watford converted it from the penalty spot for the first time this season in 3 attempts. Watford got the job done from the spot. João Pedro getting the goal. He now, of course, will be the designated penalty taker for the rest of the season. Watford up 1-0. And that would really be the only Watford goal that was necessary in this game. That would be the only goal Watford would need because Reading didn't put together very much at all. They really, really troubled Daniel Backman in this contest. Reading, though, did have a few chances. There was a shot that went just over the crossbar from Reading, but really the Royals didn't put together nearly enough with the talent that they had on that pitch. And when you look at the likes of Tom Ince, when you look at the likes of some of those other players that they have, Jeff Hendrick was also at the front. They really should have capitalized. There was a moment in the first half when the Royals went forward and the Watford defense fell asleep. And the only time that the Watford defense really fell asleep tonight was that moment late in the first half. Jeff Hendrick, my goodness, if he could have done something better with the shot that he had, Watford could have been in some trouble. None of the Watford defense saw Hendrick, who made a run behind the defense, but he corkscrewed his shot way off I mean, nowhere near the goal. It was an embarrassing shot from Hendrick, and I'm sure he would love to have that back. And Watford, thankfully, will not give him another opportunity to do so. And Watford escaped with one there. But other than that, and a couple of other times where Reading had a shot, Reading really didn't threaten Watford and never looked like scoring in this game. Although in the second half, Watford, having got their 1-0 lead, began to become a bit more complacent. Their movement of the ball was not as crisp and as sharp. They did not move the ball as quickly as I would like them to do, but they did get enough of this job done, and their performance was solid enough in all areas of the pitch to get this well-deserved victory because they controlled the tempo and they controlled the match quite easily. But there was about 10 to 15 minutes in that second half where Watford were a little bit lethargic, didn't have that zip. They looked a little bit nervy. They needed a bit of composure and they needed someone to settle things down. I thought in the midfield, Kayembe at times was plodding with the ball. He didn't release the ball quickly enough for me. But there are other times when I think Kayembe is much better going forward when he takes an advanced midfield role position. He actually moves the ball faster and becomes much more potent on the ball going forward and much more fluid. But sometimes he gets bogged down in that midfield and runs out of ideas passing the ball, not spreading the ball around the way I think he's capable of. And sometimes he does that. And it's not like that every time, but in this game, there were moments like that, and he ends up losing the ball in midfield. But the thing is, Reading weren't good enough to punish us with any mistakes that we made. They weren't good enough to punish us. And if that were a Premier League quality side that we were playing tonight, we might have been undone in some really key situations that could have really hurt us. But as it stood, Reading really did not pose any kind of threat at all. For Watford, I thought the key moments for Watford that really led to them solidifying their control of this match and getting that second goal was when Carlu came on. Once again, Carlu has a goal involvement or at least something leading to it. The second time I've seen it this season where Carlu has had an impact in a game within 15 to 20 minutes after he came on, Watford would go on and score. João Pedro did that in this particular game, as he did against Wigan when he scored. And by the way, both times scoring in the same minute of the game, the 87th minute, as he did against Wigan, he did again tonight against Reading. And it was Carlu coming on that really set the table for that to happen. Carlu was lively and persistent. He really had a bit about him going in toward goal. Whenever he gets the ball on that left side, he runs down that channel, or if he's on the right side, he runs down that channel, he runs straight into the box, or he crosses directly into the box at the first time of asking. No hesitation. He's forward thinking, he's direct, he's positive, he is absolutely on the money, is Carlu. And I'd love to see him play more minutes in these games. And his impact has already, I think, given Watford a lot to think about, the manager particularly, as to whether or not Carlu should be coming in earlier or even starting some of these games. But we'll see about that. But Carlu definitely has a very positive impression when he comes on the pitch. He doesn't hesitate. And Ismail Assar sometimes does. When he's that ball on that left side and he's in that position in the channel, he does tend to hesitate and stop. He did that a few times tonight in the game. But overall, Sarr I thought was good and lively. He's got to try to stop hesitating, though, in key moments. Get that ball into the box, just keep driving on goal and take the chance. If you can't, if you don't have a shot on, try to pass the ball away or chip the ball over. And he did that well tonight, Sarr, in a couple of the scenarios. But he has hesitated in a number of games. But Sarr is still a very quality player for Watford. I just would hope that he becomes a bit more consistent in his decision-making abilities, and I'm sure that will come along for him very soon indeed. Asprilla, when he came on, was a lively spark, just like Carlu was. He went straight in and straight into that box and try to make things happen. I just want Sarr to do that too. I want him to do that some more and do it on a more consistent basis, because he has done it during this season, but not consistently enough. If the shot isn't on and if you can't chip the ball, force a corner, kick the ball off of the player that's defending you and get a corner, get a throw in. One thing Asprilla did immediately when he came into the game, he ran into the box and he got a corner off of a Reading player. And that's what you've got to do. Keep that possession and that momentum in possession going. And if Watford can keep doing that, they will get more goal scoring opportunities. And Carlu, with his endeavor and his persistence, brought on the eventual goal scoring opportunity. There was a rebound from the keeper. And then what João Pedro did is carefully angle the ball in. He composed himself, leaned back, put his weight back, and then just glided the ball in with a lovely finish in the bottom left-hand corner of the goalkeeper's net. And that was that. 2-0 Watford, game over, done and dusted. João Pedro with the brace. Now, look, the Watford players tonight, I thought, played decently. I thought they played pretty well. I liked the way that Chowdhury played tonight, gave his all. He tackled, gave a lot more snapping tackles tonight than we saw on Saturday. Well, he didn't even play it, did he? On Friday, on Saturday night. But I do know that he was much more involved tonight. It was good to see him on the pitch, looking very lively and very sharp in the game. I like the way that he played. Dan Gosling, I thought, was a standout again at right back. Really like the energy and positioning that he has in that right back area. He's got a lot of confidence. Dan Gosling is a veteran footballer, and he absolutely showed you his composure in this match tonight. Really liked what he was up to. Very, very good indeed. And the back line was very good too. The back central defensive pairing. If you had told me that Troost-Ekong and Cavaselli together would keep a clean sheet today, I would have looked at you and said, I think you need to take a trip to, you might have to take a trip and take a look at your faculties, because there's no way I would have forecast that, not based on what we have seen over a number of weeks and seasons, at least last season or so. But I can tell you tonight, Cavaselli and William Troost-Ekong were the genuine outfit. They were very good. Marshaled themselves very well. Loved the way they organized and patrolled that central defensive area, and they looked very confident too. And it was good to see Cavaselli make some big clearances. So did Sema at times as well, but it was Troost-Ekong and Cavaselli who, generally speaking, were really solid tonight. So the back line performed as well, and I think everybody did their part and did it well on the pitch when it counted. Watford by far the more imposing and dominant team, and even that said, sometimes in these games, even when the performance is a little uneven as it was tonight, it was still a solid performance and a solid effort by Watford. But, they had to be patient against a Reading side that labored a lot in this match. But sometimes, as I say, in these games, you don't have to be 95 or 100%. All you have to do is get across the line with 3 points. And that now is what Watford have done. And now they've now won 4 of their last 5 matches. This has been the Orns 10-minute take.